Risk of rule break is high. Are we going to get picked up at all? I can't even look. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your favourite motorsport manager here. Spot the Aussie doing the F1 mod race engineering. Currently coming up from our last victory. In some sort of a sense, getting 10th place for Leclerc at Spa-Francorchamps. I would class that as a victory for our team. We're a back market to a mid-pack team, scoring some vital points, getting those championship money as well. That dollar values we're starting to cash up a little bit here. But right before us, before we move into the next round, which is going to be the Austin GP, we've got a bit of a bribe on our hands. We've got a bribe from Derich Masites. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's a crazy name. I think I just got a Facebook ding. But yeah, anyway, he's saying, I'm wondering if you're interested in voting in favour of pre-distributed tyre compounds in the next vote. I can make it worth your while if I know what it means. If we're forced to vote in favour, 250k. And all I care about is the money. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be picking up that cash money. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is I actually have 4 votes at my sleeve. Does that mean necessarily that I'm going to lose all my 4 votes? I hope not, because I only want to vote for stuff that's really going to affect us, and this doesn't make a difference. Pre-distributed tires is literally like having, you know, the sets of tires that we have where it's like 6 sets of softs, 6 sets of mediums or whatever. We like to stack them in one set of compounds rather than the others, but that doesn't make a difference to us. So I've taken the cash. The vote will come up any second. It's going to force us to vote in favor for. Here's the vote. It's coming up. What does that mean? Hopefully we don't have to vote all of them in the green. You've been bribed to vote in favor for, so we're only going to use 1 vote, and that works for me. This rule not be beneficial. This rule not benefit cars that are easy on tires, which is surprisingly race engineering. Our tire wear is like 2 stars only, so that's a big surprise to me. That must have been a lot of teams didn't actually pick it up. Let's see how the vote goes anyway. It's been a +1 to us, 2 votes for, 1 vote neutral. Skip to the end and we'll conclude that vote. It looks like it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen anyway. We could have gone negative and it would have like broken the votes even, but at the end of the day, I'm happy for that to happen. So, pre-distributed tires has ended. That rule is approved. Will be implemented in the following season, so that's going to be for next season. We've also just completed our new design for our suspension component, which is pretty sweet. It's a great component. It's lit it up to the max. Let's have a bit of a look. If we start to stack any of our cars with those better components, even though they're massively illegal, we haven't been caught. We've only been caught twice for illegal components, which is a huge surprise to me so far. So if we were to stack these 2 parts, remember, the actual base is only 882, but the potential is 1011 versus 940. So that's a big difference. That means we're going to have to get the performance up of that particular component, which we should start to do very shortly. The other thing I might want to do is start to invest in a factory. How much longer in this championship do we actually have? Because that's the big question. And if we are actually able to afford it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races. 6 races, that will probably get us $12 more million at max, plus the prize money, plus the money that we're keeping aside for the car. So I think we might actually be able to do it. And by doing this, what I'm looking at is the actual factory itself, because I feel like it's so slow to upgrade anything. If we have extra people working on the development and also the improvement slots, it's going to make everything much faster, because what you can see is once we go to improve parts, nothing is at its max potential because everything has to be caught up. In the Formula 1 season, it's a quick calendar. There's a race like every 15 days, where in the other championships we only do about 9 to 10 races a season. You've got like 20 days between each one, so we're constantly upgrading components, but we're not able to fulfill them up to the max potential because we just don't seem to have the staff for it. So it might be worth investing in one now. It's going to take 30 weeks. 30 weeks would technically be, do the math for me, Simi, 30 weeks, 4 weeks in a month, 8.5 weeks, 8 and a bit weeks. We're already in August. 8 and a bit weeks. So it's going to take at least around 3 months. So we're in September, October, November, December. We might just hold off on that. There's no advantage because it would only be ready till after the season. So let's just keep moving forward, design a new component. But yeah, let's have a look. What did that do for our car now that we've done that? It's moved us, well, we haven't moved. We're still in 9th position for those components, even though we just designed a new suspension component. That's because we still need to improve it. What are we going to design next? Let's have a look at the next race. What is crucial? Suspension again, rear wing. Then it's going to be all different components again. Suspension. Let's do let's do, since suspension is all the way up, I imagine rear wing is our next one. It's going to take ages to do. Look at this. What are we going to stack it with? We're going to make it a risky component so it gets to the max level as fast as it possibly can. We're going to pick 2 days for the good start, plus 30. I really only care about getting the base stats up. That way it carries over to the next season and the parts are much better, but they lose their risk potential. So we've got now 60 plus 15 red zone. Yeah, that's fine, because once we start to get the reliability up, it will not make that much of a difference regardless. So that's what I'm going to build, and that's going to be a big payment of just under 1.4 mil. We've still got 10 mil in the kitty, but that will take a long time to do it. As you can see, the more better components you build, the longer it does take. So what we just built then was our rear wing, so we might just do that and get that to be as reliable as fast as we possibly can. Leave the engine in there because that will just improve by +1. That's the chief mechanic Alex Gray's additional benefit. So we'll just carry on from here. The other thing is sponsor deals. What are we going to sign up? We've got KFC, So Good, Claro, Kingfisher. Even if KFC was the last sponsor, it was only 1 star, I would have picked them anyway. $450,000 each race for 11 races. That's going to be $4.5 million across those 11 races, which is much greater than the 2 offers that we've got here. But KFC would be a great sponsor to pick up. The Colonel, you are officially signed up. Let's have a look. Where are you on the car? Does it actually look okay to be on this car? Can we start moving around the car? I think we're going to have to go to the screen. Where's the KFC sponsorship? There it is. It's just in the back panel. It's alright looking. I actually do like how the rear wing has Roxona, and it's got KFC in the top flap. So there you go. So we've got 2 sponsors now on the back flap. KFC Colonel is officially in. Let's continue to carry out our delivery of this car and prep for the race at Austin. The wind tunnel has been officially built, so that's another upgrade to our headquarters. What does the wind tunnel do? You're probably going to ask yourself. The wind tunnel does epic front wing, and it improves the driver improvement rate. So the faster they'll be able to improve through training over the weeks, which is a cool modifier to have, especially for our guys, because they are younger talent, being 20 and 19. For Austin, we're going to pick out Roxana sponsorship, 10th or above for 750,000. We're always going to stack super softs with 9, medium with 5. Same as well for super softs and medium again. Part fitting, I'm going to keep stacking Schumacher's car because we want to make sure he's on our good side. The idea there is that if we can, continue to have Schumacher on our side, we can sign him up for next season. His contract ends in the next 4 months, so we want to be able to sign him up. We have to keep him happy by giving him the better car. Even though I think Leclerc might just be a little bit of a better driver, it's just the way it works for our 2 drives, and that's what we're going to pick. We might just pick those 2 components and let them drive out on that. In fact, you know what? I might actually pick Leclerc to have the 861 because I don't think... No, we'll actually go 882 because it is... The suspension is crucial. So we'll get him in there. You know what? Actually, I'm going to not let him pick that component because if suspension is crucial at this track, that means it gets used up much faster. And if we go to the 94%, that means we won't have to fix it for a pit stop. So I'm happy to do that. Save a lot more time in that particular pit stop, but it might make him a little bit slower. Not by much. Like tenths of a second, but again, racing is about tenths of a second. Rolling into the Austin GP, it's going to be one of the track layouts that goes on the infield of the actual track, not around the outside dome. This qualifying session at Texas, it's only a 1-minute lap around this particular track, so getting some clear space out here with so many cars doing their times is actually a lot more difficult than you think. We're trying to squeeze some good times out there, but at the moment we've qualified 19th and 20th. We are literally on the back of the row, and for a track like Austin, it's going to be very vital that we're able to get up at least inside the top 12, top 13, top 14 cars in order to ensure that we've got good track position to compete with people to get inside the points yet again. And at the moment, it's just proving very difficult. It looks like the track's starting to finally clear up a little bit, so we might just send out both cars with minimal changes. We've got both cars on 99% setups at the moment, so we've got them in the sweet spot where they need to be. Schumacher's going to start off with his lap. We'll try to get him in the perfect tyre temp and brake temp as much as we possibly can. Same with Leclerc. That's the idea here. So what the goal here is try and bring those gauges down, or those little indicators of where the tire temps are, into the green zone. And how we do this, the best way to do this is get to about 3/4 of the way around and then slow up as much as you possibly can to bring it down, and that way you can line up both at the same time. Might be a little bit more difficult with Leclerc because he's not going He's actually going a little bit faster, but there you go. The tyre temps look good, but the brake temps are a little bit cold on that car. I don't know for Leclerc, I don't think we're going to be able to bring either down into the sweet spot. That's alright, he'll get another chance at this anyway, but let's just follow Schumacher's lap for now. Can he improve where he is at the moment? He's got a clear track, and that's the main thing right now. He's only down by 0.6 at the first, only at the first indicator. We've got 3 sectors in this track. There you go. The second one's been set 1.7, and that's going to put him down into at least the top 15. 10th, so he qualifies 10th position. That's really important for us. Leclerc moves up into 16th, so both drivers have been able to improve. Hopefully they can improve even more. Improve on that last time that we just did by trying to get both cars into the green zone. And it's proving a little bit more difficult for Leclerc because he seems to be slipping up on the tyre temp and brake temp. We've got good tyre temp and perfect brake temp for Schumacher. That's great for him. Now let's just focus on Leclerc. Can we get the tyre temp? And then we know he's got perfect tyre temp. So let's see what the differences are going to be. Are they going to be able to improve on their last time? Yet again, we have clear, open track in front of us. And if they do complete their lap fast enough and get around in time, we might even be able to do one more lap. One more hot lap for this track. It's going to be really important. Both are storming. He's only down by 0.5 at this first sector. Leclerc's also improved. He's down by 0.7. Remember, Leclerc has the second tier car out of the 2 cars. So he's actually fighting. He's punching above his weight by trying to keep in touch with Schumacher. If both cars could get inside the top 12, that would be a huge achievement for us. Schumacher seems to be down at the second split. It's a little bit of a concern, but Leclerc is actually improving. Leclerc might be able to climb a little bit further up the ladder. Schumacher isn't able to improve. Leclerc does... yeah, he goes a little bit faster. He goes up into 14th position, so that's another improvement. And we should be able to get one more lap out of it. One more lap. The track might be a little bit more compact with the amount of cars going around, but that's okay. We'll be able to make this work. So for both of our cars, they might struggle to get around on the track on time if we do a little bit of a slower warm-up lap and try to get them in precisionally into the right tyre temp. So what we're going to do is we're just going to speed around and hopefully they cross the line in time to start their hot lap. Schumacher should be able to do it. Will Leclerc be able to? Yes, they just got through in the nick of time. Let's slow this down. Let's see if they actually go faster by going, by having tyre temps beyond and brake temps beyond where they should be. Overheated for Leclerc is actually an improvement for him. He's fastest in the first sector, at least for himself there. It's a personal best first sector, but can he keep this up for the remainder of the track? Can Schumacher try to jump up? I don't think Schumacher's going to be able to improve. He's been slow in the first and second sector. Leclerc can't improve in that second sector either, and it looks like we're going to be stuck in 10th and 14th. And that all depends upon where everyone else qualifies as well. Button's still out in the track. Button wasn't able to improve either, so that means he starts all the way back in 18th. That's a big shame for Button because, you know, as a prior world champion who raced for Brawn GP, McLaren, a guy who's done it all, is actually struggling right now in the backpack, so that's good for us. That means we might be able to jump a little bit ahead. Schumacher does get inside the top 10, scores us those much needed bonus points, or bonus money I should say, not bonus points. It's race day at Austin GP. For our knowledge bonuses, I'm going to give both drivers race room 15%. That's the knowledge we gain in practice. Medium tyres, despite the fact that I'm going to start them on super softs. I'm hoping that the super softs come into effect and they're able to leapfrog a couple of more cars in their order and then do 2 pit stops, both for medium compound tyres, and that way they're able to stretch those tyres out, but make the most of the fact that they're going to start on super soft tyres and perhaps leapfrog a few other teams. We'll get them to go both into attack mode, both on high mode, just to make the most of that start, and that's what we're going to be grinding off. That's what our drive is. 2 stops, medium sets of tyres. They'll be on the medium set of tyres for much longer. That's why we've given them the performance bonus in medium sets. Hamilton first on pole, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Vettel, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Alonso, Perez, Van Dorn and Schumacher round off your top 10. So let's get this race on the way, guys. 1 red light, 2 red light, 3 to the 4, and now to the 5th. And it's going to be green, green, green in Austin GP. I actually really like this circuit. It's very short. You can do a fast lap around here. Look at the bundle of cars at the start. There is 3 wide into turn 1 already, and that's a huge stop by Schumacher. He's already leapfrogged into 9th position. Leclerc seems to be closing in as well in that 13th spot to 12th. He's able to lock down, maybe even get up into 11th position, but Schumacher 10th and 11th. We've got both cars leapfrogging in the order and been able to make the most of that start. That's great news for us. Good to see that these tyre selections have worked out. We're able to even pass Habsburg. Habsburg got off to a really bad start by the looks of things. He's on the medium sets of compounds, so he's on a very, very different strategy to us. So it's really important that Leclerc gets by Habsburg as soon as he possibly can. We don't want Habsburg to be holding up our guys who are on softer compounds. given the fact that this is fighting for track position. This is literally where we need to be. The other thing is, will we get lapped in this race? Well, we'll have to wait and see what the lap times of each driver is going to be, but it looks like Leclerc's actually made the pass stick on Habsburg. Schumacher's up into 9th, Van Dorn is into 10th position, so it's a great start by our team thus far, and if we can keep ahead of the Ferrari, that will mean we're meeting our chairman's expectations of 6th best team in the race. So we want to be able to keep a close eye on him. We are on different sets of tyres. He's got 80% tyre tread left versus our 70%ers. So let's go back into neutral mode, considering that both tyre temps are starting to get a little bit more heated. And we might just want to start to be a little bit more easier on the fuel. Let's leave it in high mode. We are competing for position. This is vital that we keep those track spots. I want the tempo to be kept up in these earlier stints. And when we come out in the later stints, we can start to be a bit more conservative on those tyres. But it looks like Leclerc's trying to make the pass stick. So let's get him to go into overtake mode and go around the outside, pushing him even further by going into a driving style of push mode, and he's able to make that pass stick. So both of our drivers into the pointy end, into the points. We've only been able to successfully do that once before, but this is a good start for us so far. Whereas Button's into 16th position. I want to keep a close eye on him because he's a very good competitor and he's in a really good car. So I imagine he's going to be making his way through the field and potentially be a threat to us much later on. But the track seems to be really dry. I can't imagine that Austin GP is going to have any rain whatsoever, given the fact that it's in one of the hottest parts of America that barely sees any rain unless it's like the rainy season, which it isn't at the moment. So it's really important that we try to conserve these tyres as much as we possibly can. Schumacher's already bridged a bit of a gap, so I might get Schumacher to go into... let's leave him in neutral mode. I feel like on these medium compound tyres, we will be pushing... they do about 18 laps each, and the way I've calculated it is that we only need them to do about 14. So we should be able to push on those tyres, and that way, you know, work them out to be the max that they need to be. But Leclerc using up as much tyres as he can at the moment. Magnussen's actually been able to pass Van Dorn. We don't like Magnussen. We always seem to come across him. But the good thing about Leclerc is he's very good on fuel. So let's go into high mode, push away from Magnussen as much as we possibly can. The only danger to us is the fact that we're going to probably have a couple of cars that are going to undercut us. By the looks of it, Schumacher's going to have to come in one lap earlier than Leclerc because Leclerc seems to be much better on the tyres anyway. So I don't want to double stack the two cars because pit stops do take a little bit of time. And the fact is any seconds lost while they're double stacking is not good for us. So I might get Schumacher to now push on this strategy. It looks like Alonso, Button has also just come in for their pit stops. So I'm going to get Schumacher to absolutely push into the pits while he does this, go into attack mode. The wall seems to be about 20% on the softer compound, so we don't want to go below that. But at the moment, he's now still bridging this gap. Is the gap closing? The gap seems to be closing anyway. But we're going to get him to pit. We're going to indicate early that we want him to get to pit. So what's he going to come out on? He's going to come out, obviously, on those medium sets of tyres. Balanced pit stop. We don't want to see any mistakes. There's no need to risk it for the biscuit. Leclerc is going to do one more lap. One more lap. Look how much he's been able to close the gap on Schumacher, and that's because he's a bit more of a conservative driver, but he did have the engine into high mode as well. So we're going to leave it into medium mode, and as soon as he starts to push a little bit more, his lap times will start to deteriorate. He's already 1 second slower on this lap because we have gone into a more conservative mode. Let's get Schumacher back up there. He's into 19th position, considering the fact that Perez looks like he's already pitted. So Schumacher has a lot of room to play with. At least we didn't come up behind Sirkin. So as for Leclerc, Leclerc's actually come into first position because of everyone else had pitted. They successfully were able to undercut all the other teams. Leclerc is now getting rounded up by Verstappen. We kind of expect that to happen. We're going to go to the medium compounds. Balanced pit stop, park condition, everything looks good. And he's going to come. He's going to set the trend. We've got Magnussen just behind us. Is Magnussen going to come in? No, Magnussen's going to do another lap. So hopefully we can undercut him. But all eyes now on Mickey Schumacher. Where's he going to come out? So we've got a safety car leaving because Bottas has had a crash. Bottas has had a crash, so we're going to put both cars onto low mode. And that's perfect timing for Leclerc to have his pit stop, because while that safety car is out, it means everyone's had to slow down, and Leclerc is not going to lose that many spots. If it was one lap more, that would have been really beneficial. It might be really beneficial to Magnussen to do an extra lap, but at the moment, Leclerc is now into 10th position. He's actually leapfrogged Schumacher, purely because of the way that the pit stops had just worked out, and the fact that the safety car would have... When the safety car comes out, the cars automatically start to slow down to about 150 kilometers, and when they get behind the safety car, they're only doing about 100 kilometers. So the reality is, while Leclerc was pitting, everyone else had to slow down to 150 kilometers despite not being jammed up behind the safety car anyway. So that was a huge advantage to us. Given the fact he's now still on 99% tyre tread, he should be able to push. In fact, we might be able to do the last stint on soft tyres, given the position that we're currently in. Habsburger's come in, he's come in for a soft set of tyres, he's going to come out into 14th, he just comes out ahead of Schumacher. That's a really big shame. So we've lost a lot of spaces for Schumacher purely because of the way that the safety car had worked out. But the biggest winner of all that is Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen has leapfrogged into 5th position because he was able to stay out one more lap than everyone else before he needed to pit. He's pitted for his tyres, he is where he needs to be. Safety car will come in very shortly, he'll actually come in the next lap. But everyone else seems to have just bungled down and, you know, found their place purely because of the way it worked out. So we've got Julian Palmer, who's in the order of 7th position. He's going to be a bit of a safety car for us in the way that he's only on 42% tyre tread. We're much faster than him. We also have Button, who's leapfrogged into 10th position. He hasn't pitted yet, so he's going to try to push those tyres as much as he possibly can. Van Dorn is into 6th. We've got a bit of an odd order. Even Hulkenberg is into 3rd. Alonso seems to be the big mover in the pack who will probably try to leapfrog as many cars as we can. Leclerc is obviously the biggest winner. Schumacher lost a little bit. In fact, Schumacher might have been the biggest loser of the group because of that pit stop, but that's okay. We'll have to make that work. In the pit, the car is going to come, so we're going to go back to medium mode. What this most likely means as well is we're probably not going to get laps, so we're going to have to play really conservative with those fuel loads, what we're going to do. So for Schumacher, let's get him into push mode. Let's get both cars into push mode for the restart. We want to make as many spots as we can. Leclerc's actually fighting for position. He's lost a couple of spots, but now he's back on the attack. He's gone around the outside of Perez. He's defended that position successfully. Now Julian Palmer that we've just rounded up and we've pushed away immediately. Once those tyres start to get in the right grooves, in the right tyre temperature range, I'm then going to have to medium them out and try to expand them as much as we possibly can. But Kevin Magnussen is now being rounded up by Leclerc. Can he make the position? I hope he can. Leclerc is now posting his personal best times of the race because we are pushing like madmen at the moment. And it looks like the advantage of that fuel load is now starting to bring up. We've got another safety car. Someone's crashed again. Who is it? It's Faruku. So Faruku's out of this race. Not that big of a deal. Can we possibly pit now? Let's go back to low for everything because virtual safety car makes it slow for everything. Is it worth pitting now? No, it wouldn't be worth pitting now. We wouldn't be able to get to the end of the race, so that's a bit of a no-go. We're about to go back into attack mode to get everything into overtake while we do that little bit of a quick start. And we're back underway. Complete green tyres. Are there going to be any more crashes in this race? Because so far it's been a bit of a spectacle for crashes. Leclerc seems to be up his fastest time. He then rounds up quite quickly Verstappen. So the original leading car, Verstappen, has struggled from the start. Leclerc is now brushing everyone for pace despite having the second tier car of our two drivers. But right now the tyre temps are starting to heat up, so we're going to have to medium them down. But you know what? I think we're going to be able to push as much as we possibly want and then do the last stint on the super soft tyres. So Leclerc's doing an amazing job at the moment for our team. Who else has had to pit? Leclerc's then lost another spot. We're going to be able to finish this race on the softer compounds, I believe, at the rate that we're going. So I'm happy for them to keep pushing the way they are. Let's see how the race pans out for everyone else. Will they try to push it as much as they possibly can before they pit? I'm not sure at this stage. It's one of those developments we'll have to see. Let's look at these lap times that we just did. So Leclerc does a 1:10 and Schumacher does a 1:09. Magnussen does a 1:07, but he drops down in the order because he has an aggressive Alonso that's just passed him for position. Now Schumacher seems to be up in that battle now with Leclerc, who seems to be holding up a few other cars. We've dropped back into 10th position. Now we're still on the threat for Magnussen, who's doing what? He's actually pushing that car as much as he can at the moment. So the moment we started to put these cars on a more conservative strategy was the moment we noticed everyone started to struggle. Thing is, we've still got both cars into the points. We're now fighting clearly for position. We're not in the same level as everyone else around us. The main thing is trying to stretch out those tyres as much as we possibly can. You know what I might do? I might actually get Schumacher to push. I might get Leclerc to push. The strategy now is no longer to try to go to lap 30. The strategy now is to push him to about 20%, then pit for a new set of tyres, and then come out on a medium set of compounds and push those even more. So I'm happy for them to use up as much tyres as they can if they're defending positions, which is what they're doing right now. They're defending for track position. Leclerc, Van Dorn, Schumacher, Alonso is leapfrogged ahead of us. Obviously, they're doing 106s. They are that much faster than us that we're not in the same category as them. Our fight right now is these three spots. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Everyone else seems to be a little bit more conservative than us. Schumacher, we might have to get him to pit very shortly. No one should be able to finish on the sets of tyres that they're on. Hamilton's now into 7th position as well. He's just pitted for those sets of tyres. He'll have to pit again. I can't imagine him trying to split those tyres as far as he thinks he can. So Schumacher, we're going to have to pit him. We're going to pit him in for the medium compound tyres. Balance, stop, strategy, nothing to fix. In he's going to come. Leclerc, he can do one more lap on those sets of tyres. Schumacher's already dropped down into 12th position. He's fighting for that spot. We are fighting for racing spots. It's a bit of a shame that we weren't able to last much longer. But as for Leclerc, could we possibly go straight to the other set of tyres? Could we possibly go straight to super soft sets of tyres and get the advantage of using those? Well, Schumacher just got a good stop. He's back in the 14th spot. He's just been passed. Leclerc, what do we want to do with him? I think we're going to have to pit. We are going to have to pit. Super soft tyres. At this rate, where is first position? First position looks like he's going to lap us. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to risk it for the biscuit, come out in soft tyres. We're not going to push anything else. We're going to come straight down to soft tyres, hoping that it makes the most of it. Go in. Yes, he does. He goes straight in the pits. All these other cars might struggle on those sets, so we're going to go back into neutral backup while we do those laps. Schumacher will be able to push on those tyres. Will we be able to catch up back up to Leclerc on that out lap? I don't know. It doesn't look like he will be able to do it at this stage. But Schumacher's now gone down a lap. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put him into overtake mode as well. We're going to do the same for Leclerc, given the fact that he's still in overtake mode. Second place is past us, third place passes. This isn't good because the more cars that are passing us, the more slower our out laps are going to be for other cars to then keep going around. What is Van Dorn? What is Van Dorn's strategy? Is he going to keep going around on those sets of tyres? Yes, he is. He's actually now being slowed up quite significantly on those sets. He's going into a complete conservative mode. We've got Leclerc in 12th, Schumacher in 13th, both on relatively same strategies, but both also on very different strategies at the same time. Schumacher posts another fastest time. In comes Hulkenberg, in comes Ricciardo. Vettel's also coming towards the pits. That's not good because we want them to lap us. How far are they going to be behind us? I'm not sure at this rate. We've then unlapped ourselves. So we might have to get Schumacher to go back into medium mode, but we'll keep pushing Leclerc as much as we possibly can. Note we don't have to, because it looks like Hamilton is definitely going to pass us at this rate. The much further away from that car, from getting lapped, is the better, because it looks like Hamilton is definitely going to have to pit. Leclerc seems to be the only threat at the moment who might be able to get into the points, depending upon where Giovinazzi and Magnussen come out for their pit stops. Leclerc's now rounding them up. He's got the speed to come out around in front of him. Yes, he does. He does that quite successfully. He's well ahead of them now. Schumacher now, it's a bit of a shame because Schumacher being caught up with those other cars means that he's been blue flagged and slowed down quite naturally. Who else is inside the points so we can start to threaten? Palmer. Julian Palmer somehow is in 9th position, so that's our next car on our radar for Leclerc to pass. The fact is we've been lapped by a car, so that means we've saved another lap on fuel, whereas Hamilton and Vettel in relation to us, yes, they should be able to lap us. Yes, Leclerc should just keep pushing on this strategy that he's doing now as much as he possibly can. We do not want to get lapped by the time they come in the pits. We'd rather catch Palmer in order to pass him, and maybe even threaten Alonso. Maybe even threaten Alonso to the point where if he does pit, we're going to be able to pass him as well. Charles Leclerc again sets his fastest first sector. Where is Van Dorn in this whole battle? He's now getting passed by the lead car, but at the same time, Magnussen also takes advantage of that moment and sweeps on through. So Schumacher's now on the fuel load that he needs to be on in order to finish this race. It's now a bit of a battle because we're now fighting with the car. There goes Schumacher. So Schumacher goes through. Everyone's getting, it's weird because everyone seems to be getting blue flagged and then slowed down and then they're sped back up immediately because of the fact that Hamilton was coming in the pits. So Schumacher lost in that little battle because of that. The way that little battle just worked out was not good. Leclerc seems to now be battling for 8th position, so he's been successfully able to leapfrog Van Dorn. Where is he? It looks like Schumacher's been the big loser out of that three-way battle by being lapped again. Where is Vettel in relation to us? I don't know if Vettel's going to be able to lap us. That's something that's a little bit of a worry for us. Where is Van Dorn? Van Dorn is actually right on our bonnet. Let's go back into conservative mode and go back into conserve mode as well for those tyres, because we might have to actually finish on the correct amount of laps. Now, can we pull 1.2 laps of fuel in 5 laps time? I'm actually not too confident on that. That's going to be a huge fuel save, but the thing for Leclerc that's going for him is that he does naturally have fuel, very conservative on fuel as a personal trait. Let's have a bit of a look at his traits. It doesn't actually have it there. No, it doesn't. There's too many driver modifiers to have there. But we've been passed by Van Dorn. That's okay. Where is first place in relation to us? Where is Magnussen? He's only a little bit ahead of Schumacher now. So Schumacher might be able to make the pass stick. We're going to get him into into push mode. How is Leclerc going? Where is Vettel? Vettel's closing the gap. Schumacher's now got an issue with his engine. We're going to have to go back onto medium mode for him. We can't risk and push it and blow up while other cars are going to be struggling to finish this race. So that's a big, big flag for him. As for Leclerc, because it looks like Vettel's definitely going to pass us. Ooh, we've only got 2 laps to go, don't we? As for Leclerc, we're actually going to get him. Where is Magnussen? So Magnussen's definitely been lapped, which means he won't be able to do another lap. So if we start pushing Leclerc now, in order to finish this race before we get passed by first place, that will mean we're not going to get suckered in by this by the fact that we're being lapped. And by that I mean, if we get passed by first place Vettel now, we'll naturally go back down behind him and have to finish the race where we're at. Which is okay, but we might get passed by Magnussen, who's not even close to him anyway. So if we finish now, Leclerc's still going to come 10th, but he's going to be doing it at a much slower rate, so that's okay. His fuel burn isn't good enough. He's going to finish this race in 9th position regardless. As for Schumacher, unfortunately, the bigger loser from this race finishes in 12th position. That's a huge shame for us for Schumacher. Now, remember, we lost a lot of spots for Schumacher because of the way that the safety car had come out. If it had come out at a much later time, it would have worked for us really strategically. Obviously, Leclerc hasn't finished yet because he is getting lapped. Remember, he's the only car legally able to finish because he wasn't lapped on time. So that was part of the strategy, just to finish out in front of the guys so we don't get screwed over by the fact if we run out of fuel in the lap before. So that's worked out for us. He's going to cross the line with 0 laps of fuel, 9th position. We're in the points yet again. The main thing is, do we finish ahead of enough cars in order to come 7th? Yes, we do, because Bottas went out, as did Button, which is Williams. So we did successfully come. Was it 6th that we needed to come? That's right, we needed to come 6th. The scrutineering part, if it's for Schumacher's car, not that big of a deal. He just rolls back from 13th into a lower spot. Leclerc's car, the guy who's in the points, we don't want to see any components being picked up. Risk of rule break is high. Are we going to get picked up at all? I can't even look. No, not at all. FIA have absolutely no idea what the hell an illegal car looks like. We are running like, it's like having a defected car on the road, like something that's running three tires on a car. The police can't even pick it up. I don't know what to say about that. That is absolutely amazing. But the fact of the matter is, Sherman should be happy. Bonus points have been met. KFC sponsorship adding to the tally. We might even get a $3 million payout for this race. That would be pretty big. 3.2, I believe, from the top of my head. Let's have a look. What are the guys going to improve by as well, given the fact that we've just finished off another wind tunnel? We go up 10% morale for Leclerc. Everything that seems to be looking up for both of our drivers. Schumacher hits his 4th star. It's now full. Remember, we picked him up when he was about 2.5 stars, maybe just about less than 3 stars, and he's already improved dramatically. That means he's going to be absolutely pumping. Morale doesn't go down, but his relationship still goes up, which is cool. He also has a new driver trait. The driver will not join a team with their rival Jenson Button. Well, works for me. It doesn't bother me. I wouldn't hire Jenson Button anyway. We've already raced with him back at McLaren. It was a bit of a flop. The relationship with Charles Leclerc goes up to 97.8% though. Happiness with the chairman goes up again, so that's a double glee from Alfonso D. Orleans Bourbon. Happy to see that. $3.2 million payout. That's going to help our kitty quite significantly. Where does that put us in the championship? I'm actually quite interested to know. We are going to be around... So 10th for Schumacher. Leclerc is back into 13th. We're ahead of Button almost for both cars now. We are 7th, and we're going to probably finish 7th. There's no way we're going to be able to leapfrog up into 6th. We'd have to win, like, the next race, which would be almost impossible unless, like, a hurricane had hit the track and stuffed up everyone's car, which doesn't happen when we race these cars. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Be sure to give the video a like. Be sure to subscribe if you like the series. Videos are coming out every day, and I'll check you guys out very shortly.